views expressed by our guests in the following video are solely the opinions of our guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and or opinions of the Ola 7 podcast show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello guys and welcome to the Genius Keys. This is the show where we sit down and celebrate young trailblazers who are excelling in different fields, and I am your host, Aisha Nyanzunda. And today is an exciting episode. I am hosting a genius. I think my IQ pipe, he has a very high IQ. So this guy is an aspiring aerospace engineer, and he has written his A-level exams and managed to get 20 points. So we are sitting down with him today and we're going to get to know him better. We're going to talk about his journey of excellence, and he's also going to be leaving us some study tips. This is the person that you should be listening to right now. His name is Josh Nyakudya, the 18-year-old who's going to be in the future making aeroplanes. Hello, Josh, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Aisha. It's good to be here.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. And let's get right into it. What inspired you to pursue pure sciences at A-level?
Well, I had what I wanted to do in mind since I was like 8 years old. So I knew sciences were the way to go so that I could reach the expected result.
So you're telling me at 8 years old, you already knew that you wanted to be an aerospace engineer?
Well, it's more of I wanted to be a pilot.
Okay.
But someone sat down with me and opened my eyes to it.
All right.
To being an aerospace engineer. Mm-hmm.
All right. So at 8 years old, let's go back to 8 years old. You want to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about being a pilot spoke to you at the age of 8, if you can still remember?
Well, it's more like watching people like Superman fly. It just came to mind that I want to be able to fly.
Okay.
So I thought being a pilot meant I could actually find a way to create things that could actually allow people to fly. Things like jetpacks that I saw on TV. And I actually started thinking of ways to make that a reality.
Okay. So let's go back. Let's go back to O-level. What were your results like, and how did that set the foundation for your A-level?
Well, I had 9 A's. I had 5 A stars and 4 A's in O-level.
Say that again.
I had 9 A's. 5 A stars in maths, physics, biology, chemistry, and computer science. And I had 4 A's in economics, English, accounts, and geography. Yeah.
All right. Just so that we prove that we're not lying, here is the result slip. I don't know if our cameraman can pick this up and just focus on this. Okay? Yeah. So he's not lying. My distinctions, 5.
Yeah, it was a struggle, but managed to get it.
You managed to get it. And did you always excel in academics, or was there a turning point when you started taking your studies more seriously?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Because from a young age, since I was like in grade 1, I wasn't that good in school. I actually didn't care about school actually. But then in grade 4, when we were doing, I think it was long division, my teacher came and asked me, she called me to the back of the class where her desk was. Then she said, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And then I don't know what I said, but she was like, "Okay, let me teach you."
Okay.
And I actually enjoyed learning that day. And I actually did well in long division. That just changed my whole life entirely. I started caring about what I did in my work, whatever I did. I actually started doing more, studying more, actually doing things I wasn't doing before.
And which school was this, and the teacher? Because I know every student has like that one teacher that makes the difference for them. Which school were you at, and who was this teacher? Because
I was learning at Happy Primary School in grade 4. But then I lost the teacher somewhere. So I lost her contact and everything. So I actually forgot her name. But I look for her every time I go to pick up my little brothers because they still learn there.
All right.
So I look for her everywhere. And I'm still looking for her. If she still remembers me, I'm looking for you, man.
We're looking for you, ma'am. And still on the O-level journey, what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
On the O-level one.
Yeah.
There were people who kept discouraging me in different ways, actually. And there were times that I faced challenges. Like, there was a time I broke my leg.
You broke your leg. All right, we'll talk about that.
I broke my leg and I couldn't go to school. But then my parents actually said they tried to stop me from going to school. But then I told them, if I miss even a single day at school, I'll be behind and I can't be having that. So I went to school. Then there was a time I actually fell again and messed up my leg. And then I had to go back home. Everyone else was expecting me to come back after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But then I went home. The next day, went to the doctor, came back the next day, and then started lessons like nothing happened.
From what I'm hearing, you're someone who's just very serious about school.
Yeah,
You don't play about your academics.
Yeah, when it comes to something, if I put my mind to something, I want it done.
If you can dream it, then you can achieve it. Hey?
Exactly.
All right. So many people struggle with science subjects. I know I did. And you went on to have 5 distinctions at O-level. What was your study routine like and what techniques worked best for you?
Well, I came up with something of my own where I look at the subjects that I'm doing, look at the one that I'm doing least in, like I'm not doing well in.
Yeah.
Then I go to that subject, look at all the topics, which one is my worst topic. And then I'd read through it, then do like questions over it until I understand how to answer the questions and the concept behind the questions. Then I start moving towards the things I can do. Because in my mind, I'd say, you think you can do it, but then that's not the truth. You probably have something that you think you can do that you actually can't do. So I'd study like that, going backwards to the things that I think I can do.
Spoken like a true genius. So how did you balance schoolwork, your personal routine, and revision?
Well, my personal routine wasn't much. It would be just reading novels, like Rick Riordan, what else? Colin Hoover. Those novels. It was just, it wasn't much.
You even have like a smart people hobby where if you're not reading academic stuff, then you're just still reading.
No.
All right. So were there any specific teachers, mentors, or friends who helped shape your academic journey?
In honesty, yes, there were quite a lot. I had support from my family. Even the notes I would be using to study.
Yeah.
There's this guy, we call him Sir Tsuru. I'm sorry about that.
It's fine.
Let's see. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Right. There's this guy, Sir Tsuru. He's the one who brought me here. He's the one who would print my notes.
Okay.
Trust me, there were a lot. And I didn't even know where I would get the notes, but he helped me through it. And it led to me having the resources I required to read. Then there was motivation from my parents, my brothers, my sisters, and a lot of other people. Like, there were times that I felt I wasn't going, like, I was just demotivated to the end. Like, I felt like there was nowhere I was going. But then there was my friend, Tawonga. He came to me and said, you're a smart guy. And I know that even though your marks right now, currently, there's just something happening.
Oh, so this means like there was a time when your marks were not as good as you wanted them to be.
Yeah, like this one time where I had maths, like it wasn't going well. And maths is my favorite subject. So it was really downgrading for me. So this one time I was like, no, this is where I'm going to come back. This is where I'm going to do my best. And then we wrote a test. When the papers came back, it was just a normal lesson. I had a 57%.
That's
I
not
was
bad. That's a
no,
pass.
no.
57 is a pass. That is a C. In my book, it counts as a pass.
For me, it was something I didn't expect. I expected to have something like an 84 or something like that.
Okay.
And seeing that, it just put me down. Like it just brought me down. In the whole lesson, I actually put my head down. And then the rest of the lesson, I think the teacher even saw. I don't know what he was thinking, but he just saw, and then he just left me like I was just there. After the lesson, Tonga comes to my desk. He's like, "Don't worry about what's happening now. You're a smart guy, and I know that. And whatever other people say about you, stop caring about that. I know you can do it. So just keep working. Push yourself." And this is coming from someone who does 3 subjects, but his marks around 90 every time.
Okay.
But he's telling me you're a smart guy, you can do it. And that motivated me. That's when I actually properly called him a friend.
Yeah. And we all need that one friend that pushes you and pulls you up even when you're down. And now speaking of the 57, you ended up getting a 82% in the final exam. So how do we go from the 57, which is a C grade, to 82% in mathematics?
It was actually a team effort.
Okay.
I had a whole team of friends. People like my friend Michael, Mutsa, Ethan. There are a lot of them, but those are the ones who were closest. And Ian, yeah.
So you guys had a study group?
Not exactly, but it was more like Ian was my rival in a sense. You see.
Those work very well.
So we'd push each other every time we hear our marks being called out. You'd only listen to see, is Ian getting, what did Ian get? The moment you hear it, you're like, everyone else, I don't care.
Yeah, but Ian. So shout out to Ian. Did you use any special resources, YouTube, study guides, or past exam papers to prepare?
For things like chemistry practicals, I used YouTube. I just went and looked for different practicals. And there was also organic chemistry. I looked on Khan Academy. It's a website on...
I know that one.
Yeah.
I can relate to everything you're saying because I did science as an A-level, right? So I know about all these websites and these things that you're talking about. Why did you have to go the extra mile for organic chemistry?
Because organic chemistry was done whilst I wasn't at school. It was done in April holiday, whilst everyone was on vacation. So I had this church camp I had to go to. And I debated between the two, and I was like, let me go to camp.
It's probably why God made you excel, hey?
Yeah.
So some students struggle with procrastination. How did you stay motivated and disciplined?
It was actually just one thing. When I got my grade 7 results, I saw, at the time, me and my father, I don't know what I had done, but we're really talking, like, it wasn't like talking like as we used to. So the day I got my grade 7 results and he saw them, the smile he had on his face, him and my mother, that was enough motivation to tell me, nah, I have to change. So even when I did my O-levels, that was the whole motivation, just to see that smile again. Same with A-level.
Right. Okay. So you're a smart guy. You know you're smart. You have people telling you you're smart. Your teachers believe in you. Your friends believe in you. But did you ever have like a moment of self-doubt?
Yes.
How did you get over that?
It was actually my friends. I actually thought I was going nowhere, but it was my friends. There was even a time where I found someone who could contact my parents at school. I was at school. So I found someone who could contact my parents and tell them it was a difficult time. I couldn't do it. And then
Tell me, what was going on? Was it social stuff? Was just you in your mind being too much in your head? Was the workload too much? What was going on?
one, I was the choir master. Two, I was a senior prefect. So with all that, I also had other duties to attend to. Like, so with all that pressure, it felt like I was in a box, and it was becoming smaller and smaller with each day.
There just wasn't enough time.
Exactly. Everything required time. And for me, I have a problem where I want everything to be perfect. Call it bragging, but I believe that these results aren't exactly what I was supposed to get. I felt like I should have seen 90s or something. So I'm a perfectionist.
Okay.
Right. So the thing is, this other guy came to me and told me, you couldn't do it. The only reason you got into the honors roll was because you do 4 subjects.
Okay. And do you want to know the story behind these malicious words?
There isn't a story. That other guy was just like that.
He's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that got to me, and I was like, no, I'm going to prove him wrong.
All right.
And every term after that, I kept coming in the honors roll. And not even because of
All right.
having
So
those
just for context, what is an honors roll?
it's like more of a top 10,
Okay.
which is ranked in terms of your results. So since most people do 3 subjects, they would take the best of 3.
All right.
And then that would be used to determine your results.
Okay.
Like to determine
What
how
position
many,
you're
yeah.
on. Okay. And you've just spoken to me about this time when you felt there wasn't enough time to handle all these responsibilities that you had and the academic stuff that you had to be doing. So how did you then end up handling exam pressure and stress right up to the day where you're like, the results are coming out?
The pressure was too great. I'm not going to lie. We actually had, and the funny thing is, a lot of people were coming telling me, Josh, how am I going to do it? Me, fool, knowing that I feel the same way. I kept telling people, don't worry, you can do it.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. I just kept telling them, just think of the bright side, and you can do it. Of which it was even hard to even take my own advice. But I kept telling other people so. But at some point, I just believed it can. I just left everything and just said I have the faith that it will work out.
All right. So through your journey, was there a particular role model, maybe a teacher, scientist, or public figure that inspired you?
I wouldn't say there's exactly one. There are countless. But to mention a few, I'll say the first person would be my father. Right. The confidence he has, the ability to connect with people, all that allowed me to, he encouraged me into finding a way to apply that in my school life, where I started making connections with people I thought were smarter than me. That's how I even made my friend Mutsa.
Okay.
So people like that, and Elon Musk, his intelligence, the way he just, like one day he was saying that he was in an interview and he was asked, are you going to make a phone? Then he answered saying, there's already enough phones in the industry and they're doing well. So I won't make one. But if there is need, I will make one.
Okay. So from what I'm hearing from you is, for academic success, one needs a support system. You also need confidence. And then you should not be intimidated by those who are better than you.
Yes.
Rather, be friends with them and they'll help you. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the subjects that you're doing. Computer science. Why did you choose computer science at A level?
Well, computer, okay, even the subjects in general, how I picked them was that they were the subjects I was good in,
Okay.
right?
They're the subjects that you had distinctions in at all level.
Not even that. Before, when we were writing exams, just before the last one, I went to every one of my teachers. My maths teacher, Mr. Charumbira, my physics teacher, Mr. Nwe, my chemistry teacher, Mr. Mnyoro, and my computer science teacher, who's now late, Mr. Zingoni. I went to them, all of them, asking them if they would recommend that I do their subject in A level. That was whilst we were doing exams. And then the thing about my computer science teacher, he told me that he said that even if you do it as a fourth subject, I believe you can do it. I hadn't even told him that I'm going to do 4 subjects. And that was just like a universal confirmation that I have to.
You have to.
So that's why so computer science, I just felt it's the future. That's why I picked it.
It is. We're actually going through a 4th industrial revolution. So you have to know your computers, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. And what programming languages or concepts did you find most exciting?
When we were starting computer science, we were told you're all going to have to pick a language. So after looking at Java,
Okay.
VB,
All right.
.NET,
I'm sorry. I have to cut you. Please explain to the people when you say language, because now people are going to be thinking, Shona, English, German, French.
well, just like you require a language to speak to a person,
Yep.
you also require language to speak to a computer so that it understands what you want it to do.
Okay.
So there are different ways of doing this. The languages are different, the way you write them and the way the computer responds. So there's Java, VB.NET, Python, C++, C++, and more. So we had 2 choices at our school. We had Python and VB.NET.
Okay.
So after looking at it, with VB, it's something that's easy to understand, but it's long.
Okay.
With Python, it's straightforward. There are no funny words or what. It's just straightforward and it's short. So after considering all that, it's a little less understandable than VB, but it's still understandable.
Okay.
So after looking at all of this, I just chose Python, which is an easier programming language that I think most people are going towards.
Okay. And what was the most challenging topic in computer science for you? And how did you end up mastering it?
The most challenging topic in computer science, I'd say it was probably ethics and ownership. It was more of a theory.
Okay.
Yeah, ethics and ownership, and also networking. Those topics, they were quite difficult because with ethics and ownership, it's like more of law and stuff. You have to understand those, which means you have to read a lot. Same with networking, there was too much to read.
So you're more of the guy that solves the problem.
Yeah, I mean,
you're just on the practical
I don't
side
like
of life.
reading.
Okay.
Me and reading don't go well.
So with AI and automation advancing rapidly, do you think Zimbabwe is ready for this digital revolution, which is already going on, but are we as a nation ready?
I don't think I can speak for the nation per se, but I believe that it all depends on the acceptance of people.
Okay.
Because I can try to teach someone like my grandmother how to use a phone, but she grew up with those button phones. She can't use a smartphone right now. You see.
Yeah.
Matumbudzi tiya. Zvinoanetsa kuti vachitanga kunzwisisa kuti how are we supposed to use these ones?
Yeah.
You see. So, and they might not even accept to learn. They will just say, I can use mine. So why learn to use another one? You see. So I think for us to evolve as a nation, we need to accept that the world is changing, and we need to accept it fast. We
Okay.
need to
Move with
listen.
the times.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, last one on this one. If you could create an app or software to solve a real world problem, what would it be?
It would be one to efficiently teach people how to, like how our education system is set up. It doesn't really teach people how you're supposed to handle business. It teaches you how to be an employee, not to be an employer.
Okay.
So I would make an app that would actually teach people on how to handle businesses and how to teach people.
Okay. Let's move on to this one, my favorite, mathematics. In case you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic. I hated mathematics since I was in grade 6 and I still failed mathematics at A level. So mathematics is one of the toughest subjects, in my opinion. What strategies did you use to excel in mathematics?
Mathematics is all about practice, honestly speaking. It requires someone who's not quick to give up, because most people would be like, once they fail at once they just see that it's not working out, they're just gonna look for a way to get it done and get it over with. You see, that's how they handle math problems. You get.
I think that's exactly how I handled it. Because my A-level teacher lost me at the Pascal's triangle, which is like the beginners. That is the foundation of A-level mathematics, right? And this thing kept on popping up in each and every topic that we then did. I think so. Because I would hear my teacher say, at this point, you need to use the Pascal's triangle to solve the trigonometric equation. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. That's the problem with most people. They just think once it gets hard, let's just do it to get it over with. Whether I do it, whether I don't.
Yeah.
Plus, me, I like I told you, in grade 4, that long division, it just changed my world. So that's when I started liking maths, and it just became natural.
Quick question. Can you still do long division?
Yes. Well, I couldn't until like lower 6th, end of term.
I think I've forgotten how to do long division.
Yeah.
Honestly thinking we'll have to try after the show.
Yeah.
So which topic did you find the easiest in A-level mathematics?
Obviously, it was the first topic, the one where we learn about the quadratic equation, the one with the, what do you call it? The b squared minus 4ac, that one, yeah.
That one. And which one required like extra effort?
Integration and
Differentiation?
Differentiation.
Yeah, I saw that coming, but I had trouble with matrices. Man.
Yeah, I'm glad they are not in my syllabus.
In my syllabus, we had matrices, and this thing needed like a long attention span, and I don't have one of those. So how important is problem solving in maths, and how did you train yourself to think logically?
With problem solving, let me just say one thing. If you don't have problem solving in mathematics, then you're not doing mathematics. Because it's a requirement. I think it should be number 1. You should be able to do problem solving. Because even on the question papers, it's written problem solving, then some other stuff. I forgot. But it's problem solving is number 1.
Yeah.
You should be good at it.
The whole math is about problem solving.
Yeah.
So did you guys have statistics in your Cambridge syllabus?
Yes, we did.
And how did you approach statistics? Because, yes, statistics is part of maths, but it's a whole different field.
Yes.
And it's taxating. It's exhausting.
True. With statistics, I can say that if I had any topic or any paper I didn't like in mathematics, it would have been statistics. Because it's demanding.
It is.
And it's not like actual maths. It doesn't really make a lot of sense if you try to think about it too much.
There's a lot
You
of
see?
assumption and probability and
Yes,
guessing.
especially that topic, probability. I promise you, a lot of people went down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
sunk.
to do it, you just require a lot of practice, like using past exam papers where you actually have the mark scheme next to you so that you understand how you're supposed to be applying it. I'd recommend using books like, these are the, what are they called? These are the red books.
Red spot, the
Yeah,
red
the
spot.
red spots. Yeah. Those ones, they actually have the explanation on how they got to the answer. That helps a lot.
So there you have it. A-level students, if you're doing mathematics, study tips mapiwa, and you want to do aerospace engineering, how do you see math applying in your future career?
I know integration is going to be it's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And the problem solving part of the aspect of it in maths is going to be used because every single day we have to solve different problems, like how the plane is going to overcome drag, how we can make the plane more aerodynamic. There are calculations that are supposed to be made. And I think maths is going to play a huge part in that.
So you just used a big word there. Aerodynamic. Because when I do those things, I want to understand, I want to learn. Aerodynamic, explain that.
Well, I don't think I can properly explain what it is. It's more of something that I just know what it is. But I'm guessing if I was to say it out, it's more like the shape of the plane. Will it allow it to fly smoothly without shaking, and will it allow it to go to the maximum speeds it wants to go to? I think that's how I can explain it, like how the air is going to go around the plane.
All right. So let's talk about one of your other subjects, chemistry. Chemistry has a lot of memorization and practical applications. How did you balance the theory and experiments?
Balancing theory and experiments was actually the thing with experiments is you're doing what the theory says.
Okay.
So it's more like you're just learning the theory and applying it in practicals. And when you do it practically, it actually enhances your understanding of what they will be actually talking about in theory. So I think balancing it wasn't very difficult because it's more or less the same thing. You're just doing the same thing.
All right. And what was your favorite chemistry topic?
Oh, it was probably ionic bonding because it's straightforward. It's just the same way a magnet works. Positive and negative, they come together.
Ionic bonds.
Exactly.
They lose, they gain.
Exactly.
And form an octate.
Exactly. Who's man?
Many students find organic chemistry difficult. How did you tackle it? Because there's so many diagrams to be crammed, so many reactions to learn about. How did you tackle organic chemistry?
With organic chemistry, I created this they call it a mind map.
Okay.
It's like a diagram where it's like there's round things that point to the other and point to the other and point to something else. So what I did was, I wish I had it, but I draw a circle and another circle and another circle at different points around the paper. Then I wrote alkane, what? So to make an alkane into an alkene, you own the arrow that points to the alkene. There will be the reactants, the conditions required for the reaction. That's what I would write.
I think I can sort of see what you're talking about. Because I've done some, but I'm sure some people who have done chemistry can see what you're talking about. For example, to form an alcohol, you need an alkane and water and certain conditions.
Exactly.
If it's esterification, then you're coming from an alkane. If it's an alkene, it's I can see what you're talking about. I don't know if the people at home are getting it though.
This one actually requires that you have like
We needed
the
to
diagram.
demonstrate it.
Yes.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
that diagram, I spent like a whole study session. Our study sessions were from 6 to 7:30 and from 8 to 9. Between 7:30 and 8, you'd be having snacks or something to eat.
Right.
So that whole study session, I spent it creating the diagram perfectly. And then the next study session, I spent it, the whole thing, the whole 2 hours, 30 minutes, I was just putting it into it. So when I was writing practice tests, practice exams, I could literally see the reactions. See, this one goes there, that one goes there.
And how did you prepare for chemistry practical exams? And what tips would you give to other students who are also studying chemistry?
I'd say that from how we did it at our school, I'd say that all you need is a lot of time. You just need a lot of time. That's why on our syllabuses, if I'm not mistaken, it says you need a minimum of around 300 hours in the lab before the exam.
103 hours. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, reading the syllabus actually, because the syllabus is like a contract between you and Cambridge.
Oh
So
my
they're
God, I
saying-
never thought of it like that.
They're saying, we're going to bring you this. So you study on this. Because if they bring anything else that's not that, you could actually sue them, you see. Because they told you what's coming and they didn't bring it, you see. So on the syllabus, I think it says you need a minimum of 300 hours in the lab. So I just say increase the number of practice.
Practice.
And then watch a lot of YouTube videos, because there's some colors where, trust me, it was confusing to a lot of people.
Especially with the transition metals.
A color, you'd see a color that looks like green, and then they'd say it's brown, of which there are no colors like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to do a lot of that and watch how it's done.
And if you had the chance to research or innovate something in chemistry, what would it be?
More of the practical side, when we're now going on to like things like medicine. That's what to actually help find ways to make medicine which works fast. Like how there's medicine that would take 3 months for it to work. I'd look for a way to make that medicine work faster, so that it's even like a day you'd be okay. I'd look for a way to do that.
Okay. And now let's talk about the other subject, the one that was never friendly to me, physics. Albert Einstein was never my friend. Talk to me about physics. Did you find it hard? Or it was also a walk in the park?
Physics was very difficult at the beginning. And it was confusing. But towards the end, you start understanding that AS is easier than A level, because there's 8S and then there's A2.
Okay.
So A2 is like the more advanced part of AS.
Okay.
So when we're doing A2, I realized that AS is quite easy,
Okay.
right? But without AS, you can't do A2 because there's concepts that are there that are required there.
The foundation.
Yeah, and it makes it simpler for you to understand. But towards the end, it became strenuous, like the reading part of it, because it was less of calculations, which I like, and more of the reading part.
Okay. All right. So I probably know the answer to this one, but which one was your favorite topic in physics?
Favorite topic? It was probably what? I think it was forces in motion.
Yeah, I saw that coming because you're a calculations guy and motion is all about accelerate, velocity,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
And which one would you say was the most challenging?
The most challenging was probably, was it internal energy? Yeah, that one.
Okay, right. So do you have dreams of studying or working abroad, or are you staying at home in Zimbabwe to contribute to our scientific field?
I plan to study abroad, but after doing such, I plan on bringing all the knowledge that I've gained from learning outside and bringing it in here so that I can teach more people. Because the whole reason why I'm going out is because I feel like to fully gain mastery of what I want to do, I require knowledge from the outside as well, which of which we lack some of the resources that are required to completely gain mastery.
Okay.
So once I do that, I plan on bringing some of the information I've learned here into the nation, so that, like you said, evolution of the country.
Yeah.
So that we bring that about.
All right. Sounds good. And if you could change one thing about the education system to help students to succeed, what would it be?
I don't know where I heard this, but I heard someone talking about how everything we learned is being brought down. Like how when I was in lower six, my brother and sister were in form two, but they were learning the exact same thing I was learning. So our education system is bringing down the syllabus. And if it's bringing down the syllabus, I think they should also reduce the time you're in school.
Okay. All right. And outside of studying, what do you enjoy doing during your free time?
Well, currently I've been working on cameras. I want to do media. It's a hobby of mine.
All right.
But sometimes I just write, like I was thinking of starting to write novels.
Okay.
And then I also sing. I was thinking of starting like singing, like music and such. Like I was thinking of just doing it as a hobby, as a light thing, to just start singing.
So speaking of music, you were actually given an award for being best in music in high school. And you also mentioned that you were the choir master.
The thing is, when I went to the school in Form 1, the choir that was there, it was so inspiring.
Okay.
You see. So I stayed in choir even after that. When the upper sixes left, they left someone new, and then they were less experienced. And with every year that kept coming, the choir kept declining to the point where it wasn't even recognized in the school, almost not recognized. Then when I went into lower six, I joined the choir again. And then the upper sixes at the time, they had disputes. They couldn't properly find who should lead the school choir. So the head boys at the time, they just came together and just said, nah, let's find someone more qualified, someone who's serious about this, who doesn't even care about the title of leadership. They gave it to me, Michael, and my friend Emmanuel Murao.
Okay.
Yeah, and Michael Rushid. So yeah, the three of us. So we were the choir masters leading a choir that's supposed to be led by upper sixes. But we kept lead. And then our three goals were to be the best choir that was ever in the school.
Okay.
And to actually spread music so that people understand the importance of music as an art. And the third one, to make people enjoy the music we sing. Right. To be noticed as choir is something important in the school. And by the end of upper six, that was done.
So it seems, besides being an academic genius, you also this great leader, because you also mentioned that you were a senior prefect, and then now you're telling me how you probably brought down this choir that was crumbling and you built it up and you made the best of it. So kudos to you for that.
We actually started, there were 5 of us when we started that choir. Just 5 of us.
Okay. And then you built it up.
We built it up.
Mm-hmm. So, Josh, if you could describe your journey in one word, what would it be and why?
Miraculous.
Why miraculous?
Because too many things that I didn't expect to happen. You know, when I broke my leg, I never thought I'd walk again.
How did you even break your leg?
Oh, I was playing soccer. aspirations.
Oh, yeah, because my next question was, besides the academics and the music, do you do any sport?
Yeah, I do swimming. That's a major. I used to do rugby in grade 7, but I stopped when I went to high school.
Okay. All right, so before you go, what advice would you give to students who also want to pursue and who also want to excel in pure sciences but are finding it difficult?
I'd say that all you need to do is just continue believing that you can do it. Whether someone comes and tells you you can't do it, they don't know you. You are you. You know what you're capable of. And believing in yourself is the first step to anything, actually. Because once you lose belief in yourself, then you've already lost. So I'd encourage you to also ask, because most people would say if they're in a lesson and then they want to ask something they didn't understand, they'll fear that if they ask, people will start laughing, saying, you're slowing us down. You're not understanding as fast as others. Just stop caring about all of that. I'd encourage that people would just raise your hand and ask, because you didn't ask. You're learning for you, not for others. You're learning so that you understand, not that others understand faster and what. So I encourage people to gain the confidence to keep asking their teachers, how am I even supposed to do that? If you find that you can't even muster the confidence to do that, I advise you even go to the teacher's office after the lesson so that they explain to you, because that's what they're there to do. They're there to help you. So if you don't use them, then your school fees isn't going anywhere.
Right. So there you have it. Word of the day is believe in yourself, have confidence, and anzishandisa my teacher. Ask them and ask them again because they're there for you. From me, Aisha Nyakudya, your host here on the Genius Kids, the only show where we sit down and celebrate young trailblazers who are excelling in different fields. Catch me again, same time next week for more of these inspiring and insightful conversations with our young geniuses. For now, it's goodbye.